Welcome back to Play Tessie, episode 18. It is December 22nd. If you are listening on drop day, it is the Johnny Damon, Shane Victorino, and Daisuke Matsusaka episode. Hopefully, Daisuke Matsusaka was someone that was talking to a pitcher that is still out there, but might possibly be gone. One person on this podcast was very pessimistic about this week, and that is because this is the official podcast of Tats and Lats. That's right. It is Jared Carrabis joining us on the official Red Sox podcast of WEEI, home of the Boston Red Sox. We got Gordo, Sammy, Pat, myself, Coop, and a special guest, Jared. What's up? How you doing?
I've never heard Tats and Last before. Like, I feel like I'm going to have to steal that now.
Go for it. You throw that on the Twitter bio. Man.
Yeah, I've never
You've
heard
earned
that.
it.
Like that.
You've really earned it. So, like, I guess that's like first topic. You got a bunch of tattoos. What's your favorite?
I do.
Yeah, icebreaker.
Tattoo. I feel like that's like an answer that everyone should have in the can. I don't know if I have a favorite.
Is that because they're all like blend? I know that you have the one arm that is all Pink Floyd albums,
yeah, like
correct?
from the elbow down on the left is all Pink Floyd. The elbow up onto the chest is all different family members. And then the entire right sleeve is just stuff that like I gave my tattoo artist just a general idea of what I wanted. I was like, just do like graveyard, like dark, like horror movie stuff. And then like I would go and sit at his parlor for 6 hours, not knowing what he was putting on my body.
Is that like kind of like a cathartic thing? Like you're just kind of like, yeah, I need this right now.
Kind of, yeah. Like
Yeah.
I would just go there. Like I was like, I know I want a second sleeve. I don't necessarily like this is all meaningful. I was like, I don't necessarily need every tattoo to mean something. So I was like, just do like dark, like demonic shit. Go ahead. And then like I would just sit there for 6 hours, and then like at the end of it, he'd be like, "Do you like it?" I'm like, "Yep." That was it.
God damn.
Yeah. If I had to pick one, I have one on my shoulder for my mom that I like a lot.
Oh, shout out Ellen.
Shout out Ellen. She's great. Just came from her house. She made shrimp scampi tonight.
Ooh. Does she still? I know that like way back. I for those listening, big fanboy. Like I'll put that out there. I guess I'm a big J now that I have like the credential every once in a while. So I guess I have to put that bias out there. I'm an OG listener of Section 10. So like I know that she used to do your laundry still. She
doesn't anymore.
Okay, that's a big step.
But she did up until like a few months ago. Like she was definitely like when I lived in Saugus, she came to my apartment and did my laundry there. And then when I lived in Fenway, she wouldn't drive into Boston. So I used to like New York City, how I used to do it in New York City, where you would just put it in like this big ass laundry bag. And then like you would have like a wash and fold, come pick it up, and then they would wash it, bring it back. And now I would just put my laundry in these laundry bags and then bring them to my parents' house. And then she would do the laundry there, and then I would take it back. But now I have someone else do it. Like I have like a person that like cleans my house. She's awesome. Okay, actually, just like, yeah. So she'll come. I asked her one time, like, so there's a language barrier. She's Brazilian. She speaks zero English. And there was one time where like I needed to change my sheets. And I was like, hey, I know you don't do laundry, but can you wash my sheets just this one time? And she's like, yeah, no problem. And ever since then, she's washed everything. Like she'll wash like the towels, all my clothes, like everything. And then she'll,
whatever was on those sheets, I'm sure that's a big icebreaker.
100%. Yeah.
So if it's like hey, I need these cleaned like real quick.
Yeah.
That story tells itself.
Right. So now we're super close. So so she does my laundry.
Respect when I see you.
100%. Yeah.
So go from Section 10, originally Barstool. Section 10, starting 9, you link up with Dallas Braden. You move on to Draft Kings, host of Name Redacted, host of Baseball is Dead. How much do you care about like the Red Sox? I want to like, you have a train, like, you know, the whole train analogy where like, it's like the whole, you can either have like the train go kill a bunch of people. You can have the train kill one person.
I did not know this analogy, but I'm listening.
Okay. It's modern thing.
Component, like you know the one person though, something like that. Like it's someone you know.
Yep.
I don't know.
So it's like kill your mom or kill 50
All right, we're not going to throw Ellen on the tracks. We're going to throw Wally on the tracks.
This is the quickest we've ever gotten into
we're
murder.
Wally on the tracks
quick
Less
murder.
than
Can we just say pick one, like normal human beings? I feel like that's pretty standard. Pick one.
What between like what Baseball is Dead or Name Redacted?
Yeah. So I was going to say, like, Barstool era versus like current era? Because you've kind of talked about how like Barstool really helped you mold yourself into something that you could put yourself on a platform.
Yeah.
But you're now so looking at, and like, of course, it's like one or the other. But right now, you are getting to do whatever you really want to do and be creative because you know that you have a little bit more backing, and maybe you aren't a little bit more afraid to take a risk at something. Would you like agree with that? Would you choose one or the other? Or is it more of like one is a baby and I like can't really let it go? Like it's a
Yeah.
difficult question, but like I'm very curious about that because you do kind of have two unique chapters going on with your coverage of the Red Sox.
For sure.
And we've talked about it before.
Yeah.
And you are the same. You are doing the same type of coverage, but I think there are two different things going on where Barstool was one entity that was maybe a little bit different, where DraftKings is another entity that's a little bit different.
So I don't look at it as a Barstool thing and a DraftKings thing. Like I look at it as like when I was in middle school and high school, I knew based on which friends I had in that class and what teacher was teaching that class, what I could get away with and like how far I could push the limit with like trying to make people laugh in that class. And that's kind of like the dynamic with some of these podcasts now is like section 10. Like I knew I could be like the class clown. Like I knew I could like say things that I knew would make Steve and Coley laugh that may not necessarily make Tyler laugh. So like me and Tyler still have a lot of fun and he's very funny in his own right, but he has a different brain than Coley and Steve. And like the sense of humor is different. So like I get it when people are like, oh, like, you know, you're different now on this compared to that. It's like, well, like I have to cater to my dancing partner. You know, like if they don't know that dance move, then I can't bust out that dance move because it's going to look awkward. So with like starting 9 to baseball is dead. Like baseball is dead. And I've said this before, it's everything that I wanted starting 9 to be. Like baseball is dead has that section 10 feel to it where we have inside jokes, like we have bits. Dallas is looser now. Like Jay is
I'm so happy he's back, by the way.
Everyone, like he's the best.
That rocked.
Yeah, he's the best. So having Jay Hay back, like in the beginning when we did starting 9, Jay Hay was the producer who chimed in sometimes, and I was like, "You're better than that." Like you, like I mean, I'm not saying like you know, like producers are subhuman. I'm
the
just
guy's
saying,
got
like,
nuggets though.
Yeah, like Jay Hay is like so smart and intelligent and well spoken, and everyone loves his takes. So we kind of just like took that off his plate. Like, don't worry so much about the structure of the show. Just like when I kick it to you, like I just trust that I can pass him the ball and he's gonna make it 10 times out of 10. And then adding Joey, like he was one of my favorite baseball YouTubers. Like people will ask me all the time, like, what other baseball podcasts do you listen to? And I don't listen to other baseball podcasts because I don't want to subconsciously take ideas from other podcasts. Like if I take ideas from other podcasts, they're completely different genres. Like I'm remodeling this studio right now because like I've been watching like a lot of like Theo Vaughn's podcasts. I'm like, that just looks more relaxed. Like it looks better, more like aesthetically pleasing. Like if you're going to watch it on YouTube. So like I'm remodeling to kind of like have that feel. Like I listen to like, or I watch Logan Paul's podcast. I watch Kirk Minahan's podcast. I don't like if I consume baseball content, it's on YouTube. And Joey was one of my favorites, but his YouTube is not comedic. Like when I brought him in,
straight informative.
Yeah,
sick.
like I thought I was bringing in like a weird brain, which he is most undoubtedly a weird brain, but he's fucking hilarious. Like I did not know that he was that funny when I brought him on to do the podcast. So Baseball is Dead is everything that I wanted starting 9 to be that it just simply never was. Name Redacted, the difference between Name Redacted and Section 10 is it's completely different members. Like it's me, but like my dynamic with Tyler is so different from my dynamic with Stephen Coley. And I think it's not necessarily like one is better than the other. I think it's more so like what style do you like better? And I think Tyler is also getting to a place now where he cut his teeth in the radio business, which is very different from podcasting. And I like the same thing happened with Dallas. When Dallas first started, it's like, TV, segments, and podcasting is different. And over time, Dallas has morphed into like one of the best baseball podcasters. Tyler, coming from radio, it's like, come up for air every now and then. Like, this is like, it's a flowing conversation. It's volleying back and forth. It's not like I go, you go, I go, you go for 20 minutes at a time. And he's gotten awesome at that. Like, he's like, you can see from last year compared to this year, all the improvements that he's made. So like, if I had to pick one or the other, I don't know that I could pick. Like, they're all like, I would starting 9 is fourth. Like, I can easily put starting 9 fourth.
That's what, because I was about, like, my follow-up real quick was going to be, I missed the starting 9 live show. That was
great.
With Brian Wilson.
That was ahead of its time.
It was like so off the rails that it was so entertaining.
Yes, like that show was ahead of its time. And for anyone that doesn't know, like, we did a digital show in 2017 with me, Dallas, and Brian Wilson, where we had the highlight rights, and we would just like put funny commentary over like the top 9 highlights from MLB that night. That show is great. Like, I miss doing that, but the podcast was too stiff and like segmented and too buttoned up, I think. But yeah, Baseball is Dead is awesome. I have a blast doing that show, and I still love doing Name Redacted. Like, it's not Section 10, and I feel like I have a hard time with that, as well as the listeners. Like, the listeners obviously want Section 10, but then once, like, I think this off season, like, we've been doing interviews every single week, and people are like, we love the interviews, and it's a different like flavor. Like, it's like the same genre, but just like, I don't know. It's all like, I don't even know what the comparison would be. Like, if you were talking about like a rock band, like, not every rock band has like a similar sound. It's the same genre. It just sounds different.
It would be like Garth Brooks when he did like an alternative rock phase, didn't he? Like, he did country, and then he has, like, if you look up Garth Brooks, like,
but that's like different
rock
genres.
Yeah,
like, I still think it's like,
that's true. You're still in the same baseball sphere.
Yeah, it's like the Foo Fighters, Nirvana, and Queens of the Stone Age. It's like you're getting Dave Grohl no matter what, but those are 3 completely different sounds, and that's, I think, what I would compare it to.
It's fair. That's fair. Good answer there. So my follow up was, I don't know what do you guys have next? What do you got cooking?
I'll ask you one, Jared. I feel like one of the reasons so many people gravitate to you is because you sort of open the door in like a traditional and in like an old school space. Like, baseball has just always been that way, and you sort of open the door in the space to be like prominent while not checking your fandom at the door. And like, when I was a kid, when I was in high school, like, I didn't have any dreams of being in the media because I just didn't think that was something that I could do or wanted to do. Could you talk about your journey there and sort of how you blaze that trail? Because you were really, I know you talk about Bill Simmons, but like in baseball, like being a baseball centric guy, you were the first one, and it really has taken off since then. I feel like so many people try to sort of emulate your model, and I'm just curious how you had the confidence to do that and what it was like at the time.
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, I appreciate that. Thank you. It was a lot of arrogance and a lot of just conviction, where I did have a plan B, but I didn't believe in my plan B. Like, I got a degree in business, and I worked at like a SEO, search engine optimization firm, but I was at that job for 10 months before I left and went full time at Barstool. So
that sounds
like,
incredibly thrilling, by the way.
it was awful. The only good part about it was that my boss was a season ticket holder, diehard Red Sox fan. So anytime that there was a day game, he let me sit in his office and watch the games with him. So at least we had that going for us. But like, for me, I don't know, like in like, I don't know, not to sound like overconfident, but it just felt like destiny. Like, when I started doing it, it just every year, like, something crazy would happen every single year. Like, from when I was 16, like, every year I feel like I would take another step and be like, it can't not happen. Like, how could it not happen? Like, it felt like, like, from starting the blog and then starting the website and then writing the book, and then being on Nesson. It just every year there was something where I could look back and say, I know we took a huge step forward this year. So at no point other than 2012, which was awful, at no point did I look back on my year and say we didn't take a huge step forward. Like if I hit a roadblock, maybe I would have had some self-doubt. But like, one of the things I always tell people that, they want to do it for a career or a living. I'm like, you got to have patience. I didn't make a dime for 8 years. I did it for 8 years for $0. And you have to want it that bad, which I did. And I saw progress every single year. So that was enough for me. Like, I wasn't looking at it as like, hey, this is going to be my path to making a ton of money. It was like, can I wake up every day and not want to kill myself? Basically, like if I made 30 grand a year doing it, then that's what I would have done. I would have been like, okay, like at least I love what I do and I'm getting paid for it. And like, I'm grateful for that. So like when I started at Barstool, I was making $500 a month and I was pumped. I was like, I can't believe someone's giving me money to do this. So to the, point about like the path and the blueprint, like I talk about Bill Simmons sometimes, but really it was Dave. Like no one was doing it in the baseball space, but all I needed to know was that it was being done somewhere. And when I talk about arrogance, maybe I just kind of mean more like defiance, where I would get these people that would say, well, you're just a fan. And like, why would anyone want to, read a fanboy or whatever? And it's such an easy retort. Like, why would I give a shit about what you have to say? You're telling me you don't even care about these subjects that you're covering. Why do I care about what you have to say? So when people ask me for like advice, like, like what advice can you give me? I'll just say like, I create content that I would want to consume. That's it. And when people come out and say like, oh, like this sucks or I don't like it or whatever, I don't care. Like, I know that like you're never going to make everyone happy. That's impossible. Like if you can build an audience, if you're lucky enough to build an audience, you need to think about these people like what I do. I need to keep these people happy. There are going to be people that are like, fuck that. Like this sucks. And what else is there? Or you're not any good. I don't care what you think. Like no one is universally liked. No one has a 100% approval rating. Nobody. Even the nicest people, like The Rock, people will find something bad to say about Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Nicest dude, most popular
Vin
guy.
Diesel would.
Vin Diesel.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah. There will be people who will find something bad to say about anybody or anything. So all I focus on is putting out a product that if I weren't doing this for a living, would I tune into this? Would I think that this is funny? Would I think that this is interesting? That's what I do. So luckily enough, like, you like I was right place, right time, where, you have the explosion of podcasts and digital media that didn't even really exist when I first started. Like I was there from day one, really, with social media and YouTube and podcasts and everything. So it was right place, right time. And that defiance of, I don't care if you like this or not. I like it. And if I like it, then other people when they find it, will like it too. And I will continue to try and please those people. And if you don't like it, find something else. I don't care. Like that's your prerogative.
So Jared, Gordo just mentioned you don't check your fandom at the door. So my question is, when a move happens like Juan Soto to the Yankees, as Red Sox fans, fuck, this is terrible. The Yankees just got Juan Soto. But as a baseball content creator, this is big news. Yankees are a big money team. Good for the game, you could say. What's your reaction like when you get a move like that?
There's a war going on in my brain at all times. Because I know I have to think about it that way. I think that it's changed because the Red Sox are not good. Like you play to the situation, right? Like if the Red Sox just had or were in the process of having this monster offseason, then the Red Sox are more at the forefront than the national story. Like people look at me as Red Sox fan, but national MLB guy. But if the Red Sox are a bigger story, then I can play the Red Sox angle. Like right now, the Red Sox are on the back burner. Like they are, I don't want to say irrelevant, but dangerously close to it. And that sucks because I know that when they're on top, like it's so much fun for me and there's so much more that I can do. And it's so much more beneficial for my career when the Red Sox are good. But when they're not, it's like, you know, people, I think someone had responded to me when I think I sent out a tweet after the trade and I was just like, good for the Yankees. You know, like they had one bad year and they went out and traded for Juan Soto. Like the Red Sox have had 3 last place seasons out of 4 years and we're still waiting for one move. So like good for the Yankees. And someone was like, I miss the old Jared that would have like clowned on the Yankees for what? Like they just traded for Juan Soto. Like what am I supposed to say? And I have nothing to stand on here. Like,
it's being self-aware. Like
yeah, like I think if you're trolling at that point, that is desperation. Like, and I think when people say, "Oh, you do this for clicks," they don't really know what clicks are. Like in our world, clicks are like downloads, or if you write a blog and people click on that, then you have clicks. Like, what the fuck do I care about Twitter impressions? So I can make $37 next month? Like, who gives a shit? Like, I don't care about click. Like, I'm not gonna have like a clickbaity take on Twitter for clicks. Like that doesn't make sense. Like doing something for clicks is like if I had John Morosi on Baseball is Dead after he fucked up the Ohtani report. Like that's, oh, you're doing this for clicks. Yeah, no shit.
Yeah. I need to pay the bills this month. I don't know about you, but
yeah,
enjoy this content. It's going to keep you like occupied.
Right. Like that's doing it for clicks. Yeah, I don't do things for clicks. Like if I tweet something that's like trolly, like it's like something that I said out loud and I was like, that was fucking funny. Like it made me laugh. So then I tweet it. Like that's it. Like I'm not intentionally trying to make people mad. I'm trying, like, if you're mad about it, then it's like, all right, this joke doesn't apply to you. There's nothing that I'm going to put out there. Like when Ben Verlander said that like Shohei Ohtani is the most important signing in Dodgers history.
Tough.
And that pissed off everyone. Like I'm never going to say
everyone and
something.
their mother was tweeting about that.
Yeah. I'm not going to say anything that's going to piss off everyone. I will say something that will piss off maybe one fan base, but the other 29 are going to laugh at it because it's funny. That's a difference.
So quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Besides pissing off fan bases, pissing off players,
mm-hmm.
or it did suck.
He did suck.
I mean, he sucked.
He sucked.
It was 100.
That caused so many problems for me last year, and it like was such a turnoff. Like it was such a turnoff. Like it made me not even really like. I was very like on top of being in last place. I was like, I don't even really like this team. Like it was a weird spot to be in because it became so personal with guys that weren't even Caleb Ort. And I just was like, this, I don't know. I was like,
was it just people in the clubhouse looking for gripes?
No, it was just Josh Winkowski being a fucking asshole. He was just being an asshole.
But it's just so crazy because it was such a nothing burger situation. You were literally just saying something obvious in a joking way.
Yeah.
And it did make even less sense because in theory you were the only one supporting him before.
Correct. Like it was a damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like everyone hated that dude. Everyone thought that he sucked. I was the only person that was like sarcastically rooting for him because I didn't want to say that he sucked. And then he blocked me. So I was like, all right, fuck you then. And then I was like, hey, you do suck. And then that pissed off other guys. Yeah, that pissed off other guys. And I was like, well, then fuck you too. I don't know what they want from me. You know, like I'm not going to be like, I'm a Red Sox fan. I want the team to win. I will root for players that I think are good people. And if they're good players or whatever, but if you suck, like someone over there, won't say who, but they were like, it just felt personal. And I was like, it is personal because my life,
you don't understand. This is my mental health here.
Yeah. Like my life revolves around this team, win or lose. Like that depends, like that dictates my mood that day. Yeah. So if you're so bad that every time you're in the game, you're either blowing it or you're in the game because it's already over, you're that bad. Yeah. Like it is personal to me.
So do you think, and that kind of brings me back to the question that I asked before, where you have these two different eras. And really pre-2018, like the Red Sox, they were good, but they would never get to that finish line. And there were always guys that you could pick on. And I think that's why people also associate, and that, like, I was guilty of that. Like I used to love when you would go after Cladro. That would rock. because
Mhm.
that was a little bit of therapy for me that week.
Mhm.
But you look at like where the Red Sox had kind of gone. 2018 was a crystal clear year. There
Mhm.
wasn't anyone to gripe about, but there was a story to talk about. And you move on to like this era, and it's a weird thing to look at. So I get why people would think that way. And like, do you look at what's going to be on the plate this year? Are you wondering whether it's going to be another year of that? Are we looking ahead too far, or is there still much off season left? Like, are we going to have a fun year?
It doesn't feel like it, does it?
No,
Like,
it
no,
sucks.
no. And like someone tweeted me today and said, "Oh, like Jared Shaughnessy's back at it again." I'm like, don't fucking loop me in with Dan Shaughnessy, who I like, by the way. I like Dan Shaughnessy.
That's
but
a big step.
Dan openly hopes and roots for the Red Sox to fail. I don't want the Red Sox to fail. Like, my life is so much better when the Red Sox are good, but I am going to bitch and moan and complain when they're bad, because it feels like to me that they're like the younger Red Sox fans are just too happy-go-lucky. Like, they see Casas and Bayo and Duran, and then they see Teal coming and Meyer coming and Anthony, and they're like, well, the future is bright. And I'm like, well, I want them to be good now. Like, I get that you can be excited about the future, but that's not right now. So after 2 last place finishes, I'm going to bitch and moan if this team isn't better. Like, I like waiting an entire calendar year is a long time to wait for a team to be better. Like, and the thing about baseball, there's 162 games. So if you're sitting there in April and you're like, we still got 140 of these to go, and you know that they're bad, if you're not a 162 guy, you'll never understand how miserable that truly is. Because if they're bad, I still have to watch every single game. Even if it wasn't my job, I would sit there and watch 162 baseball games, all 9 innings. Like, even like last year was the first year that I kind of like slightly took my foot off the gas. And all I meant by that is that I would go on a date and put a fucking earbud in my ear and then text Will Fleming and be like, hey, can you be a little bit more descriptive tonight? I can't watch, but I am listening. Like, that is taking my foot off the gas, is like being on a date looking like a super agent or something like that. And that's why it drives me nuts when people are like, oh, like you're just being negative. I am
No, because you know what is in the future right there.
Yeah, I just want them to be good, and I don't want to sit through another bad season. Like, it's not fun. And when you do this for a living, you do this for a job, like, especially someone like me, where like fans will turn to Name Redacted to be like, tell me how to feel about this. Like, my emotions are all over the place. How do I feel about this? And if I'm trying to like be like, hey, everything's still great, like, you're a fraud. Like, if like I'm just gonna tell it like it is, because I don't want to be the guy that, because I think last year people, oh, you're on John Henry's payroll. Oh, because I do a show on Nesson 360. Like, really? Like that? Like this little tiny part of like I'm not a full-time employee. No one tells me what to do. No one tells me what to say. I say what I want. I say what I feel. And so it was just, I was all over the place with people. Like, if I said something positive, you're on John Henry's payroll. If I say something negative, oh, you're a negative Nancy. Like, you're turning into the next Shaughnessy. There was no winning with anything that I said last year. I had zero fun last season, and I will lose
that's
my
like the
mind.
players looking for a scapegoat. That's just fans looking for a scapegoat at that point.
Pretty much. Yeah.
So my question kind of perfectly plays off of that. What is going through your mind last year at Winter Weekend when you were on stage for John Henry's public execution?
Yeah.
Because like playing off of that, like, you're right. Like, we have a right to be pretty fucking mad.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're like right there next to John Henry, when that's going down, I don't know how you compose yourself. I would have either not like froze, not know what to say, or just died laughing. Like, I don't know what I would have done in your shoes.
Yeah. It was uncomfortable, but like, I'm sitting directly next to Cora. So like, I'm looking at him being
you had
like,
a buffer.
they're not booing us. Like I know, like they're mad,
also,
but
they led you in that way. I don't like it went like Jared, Cora, Sam, John, then TC. Like they were like, get the applause out right now.
I don't doubt that was intentional. Like I was a human shield sacrifice for the people that were behind me.
You died for us.
Better believe it.
I did.
Yeah.
It was very uncomfortable. I mean, I didn't feel like that bad because it wasn't for me. Like I was just I was a patsy. I was along for the ride, and I tried to do my best with asking questions that the fans wanted to actually hear answered. Which I was told, to their credit, they were like, you can ask anything that you want, just like nothing personal. And I was like, what personal questions could I possibly ask up here? Like I
got those yam bags.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna go out there and ask like, hey, John Henry, like, about like you're like what did Felger say? He was like talking about like, when Tito, when they wrote about Tito in the newspaper, and they were talking about like his marriages and stuff, and then Felger was like, oh, how about we get into your marriage? I would never go there. I would never go there. So I was like, okay, like if I have the thumbs up to ask questions that are baseball specific, I mean, they're not, I can't imagine that you're going to love me asking them, but I'm going to ask them. And that's the direction that we went. So, I mean, I didn't feel that uncomfortable because I think we expected boos. I didn't think we expected them the entire time. There were people that were just like yelling stuff. Like that was the only time that I felt bad, was when Heim was trying to talk and people were like screaming over him trying to talk.
And he would like stop.
Yeah. Like it was very 8 Mile-y. It was very you're up on stage and
Mom spaghetti.
Yeah, it was a lot of that. And so I mean, I hope that doesn't happen again this year. But I don't even think that they're doing a town hall. I haven't heard anything about it.
They say it's like a welcome event. I don't know.
They've only announced the players so far, right?
Hopefully that list isn't finished.
Yeah,
hopefully.
And prospects are now invited this year too.
But we had all met each other for not Coop and Pat, but like I met these guys for the first time, like literally at that event, and we're like sitting next to each other, and it was just so uncomfortable. I remember looking at these guys like I'm just meeting you guys, but like, what the hell is going on here? Like, oh my god, like I can't believe some of the shit I'm seeing.
I was maniacally laughing.
I was just like looking because, like Gordo said, we all met for the first time. I'm sitting between like Gordo and Sammy, and I'm kind of like giving him side eyes. I'm like, this is a little fucking excessive, right?
This is more than we thought it was going to be.
Well, the worst was John Henry. He should have just no-sold the crowd. You can't respond to hecklers. That's like the worst thing you can possibly. And he did it like
I can't hear you.
Yeah,
that guy.
That was tough. That was the tough look.
You can't hear you. Like, cringy.
Yeah.
Cringy.
Yeah. He was a last minute ad. When I was asked to do it, he was not a part of it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Ooh. So that was kind of like maybe an hour beforehand. We were in the green room and they were like, John's going to do it too. And I was like, John Henry? Yeah.
You think he is?
Yeah. You okay with that? I was like, yeah. So
that's gonna be like his like decision type thing, right? Like he's just like, you know what? Tonight's the night. Like there's no way that someone approached him and said, hey, do you want to do it? Like that's got to be him saying, all right, I got to face the music here. And he did.
It's the same. Yes. I feel like it's the same thing. And weirdly, that was like the first thing I listened to after that trip was over. We went to like my now fiance's New Hampshire, or her parents' New Hampshire house. And like, I just sat down. I'd never heard that John Henry interview with Felger. I was like, they say that he used to be all fiery. And like, I didn't listen to radio at all back then. And I went back and listened to it. And like, yeah, Felger asked that weird question, but like, he would just, I mean, he was combative with two of the best. It was crazy. And you just don't see anything like that now.
Yeah. I mean, I think at that point, he's been here since 2002 and, the Red Sox were his A1 back then. And now it's just like, he's got so many different businesses that it's like if you have like 5 different Twitter accounts that you're running like different like personalities under all of them. And it's like, oh man, I'm getting cooked on this one. Anyways, I'm just gonna switch to this account. Like he can just do that. Be like, all right, I'm Penguins guy now, and like, do you guys love me? All right, cool. And then you go over to what was it, the soccer team, Liverpool. He's like, you can go over there. They're pissed at him over there too, and then he can just switch back to PGA or whatever it is. Like he can just exist in whatever universe he chooses. But that night he chose to exist in the Red Sox one, and it was quite
probably never again.
Yeah, that might be his swan song. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, Jared, I gotta ask. The other day, I had an interesting tweet in which I advocated for you going to Fenway.
I saw that
when Yamamoto was supposed to go, and being part of the pitch. Now, of course, it was a little bit tongue in cheek, but I had to keep doubling down. It was getting a lot of hits. If that were to happen, what would your pitch be? What would you talk about through the translator? Just give me the brief of it.
So I'll preface it by saying this. I was at the Nike store, and then I went to lunch. And I'm just like looking at my phone, and like my girlfriend's there, and she's like, "What are you laughing at?" And I was like, she doesn't follow sports at all. Like, doesn't like, I mean, I guess she's like kind of like a football fan, but like, it's like a thing to do on Sundays. Like, she's just not a sports person. And I was like, I don't even know how I would begin to describe like leading up to what I just read. Like, I don't even know how to break it down for you so that you would understand this humor. So I'm like, that's when I tweeted out. I was like, what did I miss? I'm going to Japan or something. So I think my pitch would be that, well, first of all, I think I would go the visual route more so than the speech route. Like, I would show him the 1999 All-Star game, Pedro Martinez on the mound. And I would show him different Pedro moments at Fenway Park where it's like, hey, if this is what you want to be the face of a team, you want to be the face of a city. Tom Brady's gone, Big Papi's gone, Bergeron's gone, and I mean, like, Tatum's still here, but like, the big three's gone. Like, you have a wide open lane to be not just the face of the Red Sox, but the face of the city of Boston, and show him all these different Boston sports moments where, like, the parades, how many people show up for those things. I would show him Daisuke Matsuzaka pitching. I would show him Koji recording the final out at Fenway Park in 2013 for that World Series. Like, hey, not only I would show him the 2021 wildcard game because he asked about the rivalries with the Yankees. Like, oh, who are your rivals? So he's into that. Show him Red Sox Yankees clips. Show him the wildcard game from 2021, how loud Fenway Park was that night. That's what I would do. I think it would be less hearing it from me and more, here are the moments that you need to see, that if you're as good as they say you are, not only can you be a part of these moments, but you can directly create these moments moving forward. Because that was what he was kind of saying. Like, I want to be the star. I want to be the face. All right, well, if you go to LA, you're not even the most famous Japanese born baseball player on that team. If you go to the Bronx, you're Garrett Cole's the ace of that staff, not you. Aaron Judge is the face of that franchise, not you. So you can,
not to mention Boone's bragging about a Yankee Stadium playoff atmosphere where they are sub 500 in the past 10 years.
It's like, cool. It's loud at first pitch for sure, and then
give it 3 innings
off for the cycle, and you're losing 16-1. So that's kind of how I would do it. Is I would show him. I wouldn't explain to him. I would show him. And I think if you picked some of the more recent Boston sports / Red Sox moments, like, they're recent enough, I don't know how you don't get goosebumps. Like, here's a historical ballpark. Show him, like, Ted Williams played here. Like, show him all the history of Fenway. And then
have him read the what was it, the 2013 blog?
Yeah, 2013 blog. Yeah,
just sit that down in front of him and be like, all right, buddy, read
there
right
you go.
there.
Here's your homework assignment. Yeah, have him do that. Yeah, it would definitely be a very visually aided presentation to Yamamoto. And if he wasn't moved by that, which I said on Name Redacted last night, that from what I'm told, he was very engaged during their presentation when they did meet with him. So, I mean, if you know the Red Sox, they may not always be good at baseball, but they are awesome at visual presentations. So like, anytime they do a
Nobody loves
ceremony,
the welcome
hang the
back
banner.
video.
Visual presentation 23.
yeah,
It's good though, because like in my head, when I was hearing about them meeting, I'm thinking of like John Henry talking like a wet noodle. being
God
like,
no,
"Oh,
I
God."
don't even know if he was there.
He was
Maybe he was.
Miami.
I don't know.
Yeah. No way to know.
Would
Yeah.
you give him his own number 18 Red Sox jersey like the Yankees
Oh.
have been doing?
We
Or
can't do
is
that.
that just
No way. Cannot do that.
fucking
Painful
insane?
Jersey.
What do you mean? Why wouldn't you give him 18?
That's way
I'm
too
just
much.
saying,
It's
like,
over the top.
The
It's
second
over the
he was
top.
a free agent, Cashman and Boone are like, we intentionally
Well, I
didn't
knew
give it
that.
out.
That's corny. Like they're
Okay,
just it's
that's
like
more so what I was asking.
yeah, like they just happened to not issue it. Like there's no way. It's not like, oh, we signed or last offseason we traded for Juan Soto and he's worn 18 his whole career and we told him no. Like we kept that
Right.
open for Yamamoto. It's like you just didn't have a player good enough that asked for it. Like if you traded or signed a player that wore 18 and they wanted it, you would have given it to them. You're not just keep like it's such a lame thing. But yeah, we didn't issue it. Okay, you just didn't have someone that wanted it probably. But yeah, I can't off the top of my head. I don't know like who wore 18 most
Duvall,
That's
recently.
Uzaka. I
Duvall.
feel like that's the move.
Duvall had 18.
Yeah, Duvall had it.
18 last year.
Oh, you're talking about like right now.
Yeah, right now. Yeah, I mean like 18 to me is like Damon.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
like,
for
I feel
him,
like
like,
this like perfectly encapsulates what the modern Yankees have become. Like a guy in his varsity high school jacket, like, okay, we're this big team. We've saved 18 for you. Isn't that special? We're the Yankees. Pinstripes. Like,
Still
it's so
got Soto,
cringe.
though.
Yeah,
So
but
cringe.
it's like
Soto.
that would be
he
like
should go there and ask for a single digit. Be like, how bad do you really want me? I want to wear number 2.
Oh,
Yeah,
in
give me
like,
Jeter.
dig up,
some-
babe.
Unretired and I'm yours.
Yeah,
like the other thing though is like that'd be like Breslow sitting down in that meeting, be like, just so you know, we're not re-signing Adam Duvall because 18 is yours. Like
Right.
it's the same thing.
Very
willing to
lame.
walk away from
It's
Duvall.
very
You
lame.
coincidentally have his number and you're like, just for you, with like
Right.
handing it over. It's fucking insane.
It's literally
corny.
a
It's
coincidence that they're trying. It's almost like they're being dishonest. Like if I'm
Yeah.
Yamamoto, I see through that. I'm like, you guys are just lying. You guys are just bullshitting right now. You just had that available. Thanks, though.
it's
Yeah.
the stocks for Christmas. It's like, this is it.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
I get that you guys are giving me money, but this is the only thing. I got the Dodgers. They had hologram Tupac guys. Like, what is this?
I'm saying. Like where's my like Kobe Bryant video? Like well,
That's a bizarre move.
Yeah.
I love it.
That was
you know
wild.
what? You know what I thought would have been awesome if so obviously the Kobe Bryant video, as we know, was when he was alive from the first time that Shohei was picking a major league team. What the Red Sox should have done is used a video of Mookie Betts from the first recruitment tour and given it to Shohei this time.
Oh.
If they had Mookie Betts recruit Shohei Ohtani to the Red Sox from a video that he made in 2017, that would have been genius. That would have been brilliant.
Do you think that backfires though?
What if Mookie Betts says to come to the Red Sox?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like it's Mookie Betts as a Dodger. Well, he's now
No,
a
no,
Dodger.
it's-
So like,
it's-
but Ohtani looks at it and he's just kind of like, well, he's a Dodger now. So that's kind of.
Yeah,
But
why
he
do
would
you
have been like,
I wanna be in
well,
LA.
this is how he truly feels. Like Mookie Betts is a
That's
Dodger,
fair.
but against his will.
It would have been an authentic pitch 4 years ago, just played now or whatever
Right.
it was.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
oh, that would have been so nice.
That should have done that.
So we talked about Alex Cora.
We did.
We talked about how great of a guy he is. He
Mhm.
was your buffer next to you. He was your
Mhm.
buddy up on stage.
Mhm.
He took some ricochet shots.
Yeah, he did.
Verdugo left town, and I think people were like kind of mixed about how he like to feel about him. He was a decent enough player. He wasn't what I think everyone expected him to be. Certainly wasn't the Mookie Betts thing. Like anyone that was expecting anything, idiot.
Mhm.
But he didn't leave on the best terms as far as what people thought of him with Alex Cora. And
Yeah.
Alex Cora, like repetitively, good guy Alex Cora, would go on Gresham Fourier. He'd be like, hey, I talked to him. It's stuff that we have to be professional about and everything, but he is like a good kid and he's got a lot of potential and he has a future with this team. I feel like Alex Cora repetitively put his neck out there for the guy. He even went on with Bradfo yesterday, and he said he learned a little bit about coaching from Alex Verdugo, and he has some takeaways from it.
Took
That's
the
not
high
a
road
good thing,
every
by the
single
way.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a very nice way to say something else.
So
like I now know how to babysit major leaguers now because
Right.
I had Alex Verdugo.
yeah, which like it is a slap in the face, but it's also kind of like he does admit that like, hey, like I did try and understand you and whatnot. I tried to make that gap, and then Alex Verdugo out of the clouds. This guy's an asshole. Aaron Boone, he'll get himself ejected for me. Like, is Alex Verdugo enemy number one now?
I don't think he's enemy number one, but like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like Aaron Boone is gonna get ejected because the umpire cares that you were late or that you didn't hustle. Like, what is Aaron Boone gonna protect you from? Like, none of the things that Alex Cora aired you out for are things that Aaron Boone can or will protect you from. Like, he gets ejected to protect his guys, but like to make the notion that Cora doesn't have his players back, I said it was bullshit. It is.
It's ridiculous.
Saying like, oh, I'm gonna go somewhere where I don't get aired out. Like, did Brian Cashman not just air out fucking Giancarlo Stanton for getting hurt? You think they're gonna protect you for being late? It's the Yankees, dude. Like, the Yankees are the most buttoned up professional business like organization in professional sports. You think you can just show up like 2 hours before first pitch and they're going to be like, oh yeah, like, you're not, like, all due respect, because again, I do like Alex Verdugo. An average player. He's an average player, and average players have a place in this game. You know, like, there's a lot of below average players. Average, you know, like that. You can have plenty of average players on a really good team. He's an average player. You're not good enough to do those things and not face the consequences. Are there special rules for other players? Absolutely. Ever heard of Manny Ramirez? Like, he could shove down traveling secretaries and do all beat up Kevin Youkilis in the dugout. Like, there's no repercussions for that because he's Manny Ramirez. Like, he just did whatever he wanted to do. He was one of the best right-handed hitters of all time. You're Alex Verdugo. Like, you don't get to do those things and then get away with it and then complain that your manager punished you for doing things that you shouldn't be doing. Like, that does not compute to me.
Do you think when he talks about like he's like, I didn't want to be compared to Verdugo, or I didn't want to be compared to Mookie Betts, but the fact that he's doing all these things, was there a tinge of like, I'm the star of this team? Like, they traded Mookie Betts for me. There has to be a little bit of that deep down in him, and he like acknowledges he is not where he is trying to be Mookie Betts. Like, if he's thinking that way, no?
I think it's the fans' fault almost, because coming into this year, it was like, oh, it's Alex Verdugo's team. Like, that was like a big narrative coming into the season last year,
which he can easily feed into.
Yeah, like when he first got there, I remember, like, you know, like when he robbed Travis Shaw of his 100th career home run, he was like, he did a lot of the mic'd up stuff. Like, he was a personality. I think fans liked him, and for all the reasons that you should like a player. Like, he looked like he was having fun playing the game. He brought an energy that I think was lacking here. You know, like when you hear that stuff about, you know, like the veteran players getting on Casas for sunbathing and shit like that. Like, you need a personality like Verdugo that's just going to be like fun and loose and whatever. But you need to be fun, loose, and work your ass off and continuously be making forward progress. If you're, you know, the fun, loose guy, but then you're also the guy that is showing up late and not hustling, and you're falling off in the second half every year. And I get, you know, there was an injury last year. Like, well, I mean, yeah, 2022 that we can give him a pass on. But I mean, I think the Red Sox put a lot of faith in him to not. I mean, you were never going to be Mookie Betts. I don't think anyone expected him to be Mookie Betts, but I think we certainly expected him to be much better than the player that he turned out to be during his Red Sox tenure. And I don't think that he reached his ceiling. I think that he limited himself. And I think it's very lame to throw shots at Cora on the way out, because it's at the end of the day, it's your fault. Like, if you played better, if you worked harder, you would probably still be here, because they would have given you an extension. Like, I know that there are definitely people internally that were discussing like, hey, do we do this or do we not? All right, let's play it out. Like, let's wait to see what happens. And what happened? He just fell off. And the 7 weeks comment. And whenever I brought that up, Like there were people that were like, "Oh, now you're just looking for reasons to dump on Verdugo."
No, that was a thing.
No.
Are you kidding me? If
You
I
can't
was
say
in
that.
that clubhouse, because I believe at the time they were like 2 games out of a playoff spot when he said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I've got this dude that's been disciplined twice or multiple times, I don't even know if it was more than twice, for all these things, that it just shows like a lack of caring and a lack of effort, and we're 2 games back of a playoff spot, and you're counting down the weeks to when the regular season ends as if like you're 30 games out. Yeah, I would have a problem with that. Like, I don't think it's piling on. I think it's just being honest. And I get that, fan favorite stuff aside, if you were a teammate of his and not just a fan of the team, you would feel much differently. Like, you would be like, time to go, dude. Like, it didn't work out. You know, you don't have to like people now, because the comments with Cora were, you know, like trashing on him. I didn't trash on him. I still wish him well. Like, I hope that he reaches his potential, because I still think that he's much better than what we've seen, but it was time to move on.
So how do we think it's going to go in New York? Because on one hand, you could see him flourishing in a diminished role, new market. On the other hand, one negative New York Post story that could all go downhill very quickly. How do you feel, Jared? Do you think he's going to be a success there?
No, I think he's gonna hate it there. I do. I think he's gonna hate it there. And you know, they're the players that are there now, like this group that's existed over the last couple of years, a lot of them probably hate it there, because once Aaron Judge is your leader and your captain, hits 60 plus home runs and then gets booed, like the other players are going to take that personally. Judge may take that as like, hey man, that's just playing in the Bronx, and like that's part of it. Like, he's just such like a mascot for the Yankees at this point. Like, he's bought in for the rest of his career. Like, he'll be a lifelong Yankee, so he'll never say the wrong thing, and I get that. But other guys that witness that probably feel some type of way about it, where they band together because they like their teammates and they love Aaron Boone as their manager. But I don't think that a lot of them love playing for the Yankees. Like, that draw playing for the Yankees used to be, they have the most money, so if I'm going to go there to get paid. They've won the most championships. I'm going to go there to win my World Series because I don't have one. Now, there's nothing special about them. And I said this on Twitter, and Yankee fans push back, and they're like, oh yeah, there's 27 rings. What do you mean it's nothing special? It's like, dude, that like 20 of those were from before the Kennedy assassination. So like,
A couple of them pocket watches as well.
Yeah,
so.
you need like
and a pocket watch. Yeah, one is an
VHS
even
player to relive the glory days if you're a Yankees fan.
Yeah, like there's just nothing special about it. Like, every team has money now. They're not the team that you go to chase a ring. It's been a long time since they've won one. And that's why, like, KFC always says, like, I really wish if you could take away any of the 27, it's 09, because it would be like 2 decades since their last one at this point. But I think Yankee fan, like, it's not like the Yankees acquired Alex Verdugo and the response was like, fuck yeah, we got him. It was like, oh man. So it ended poorly with the Red Sox. He's going to a team that he already had a bad relationship with, like, at least the fans, when he was with the Red Sox. Like, they threw trash and beer at him when he was in the outfield. And now he's on the team. No one is super pumped about it. Maybe it's a little bit less now, because at the time when they acquired Verdugo, the narrative was, well, does this take them out of the Soto sweepstakes? Like, they have both, so maybe like it's less of a hole to do with Yankee fans now. But he's going to have a short leash. He's on a 1-year deal. Like, they don't have to love him. That's the thing. Like, they're looking at this as, we have 1 year of Alex Verdugo. If it doesn't work out, like, we can boo this guy in April. Who cares? He's going to be gone at the end of the year. Like, he's not a Yankee. Like, he didn't earn his pinstripes. That's how they look at it. I think he'll be miserable next year.
He also just shot himself in the foot with another team if they don't want him back, because now he's down to 28 teams to sign him, which is like, that's a dumb move. Like, just bite your tongue in situations, dude.
Yeah.
Is the rivalry back then? I mean, like, is he enough to like have Cora, like, and I don't think Cora's, I'm not going to say Cora's the guy to do it, but like, first matchup of the year, if Verdugo gets up to the plate, like, is someone brushing him back?
I think Sale would be the guy to do something like that, or like Nate. Rick Porcello definitely would have done something like that.
Would.
Yeah, he would have.
Dempster.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. That would be interesting to see, but I don't know if it brings the rivalry back. Like the Red Sox still have to be good. The Yankees still have to be good. Like I miss when.
Yeah, like it still could very much be a bum fight.
Yeah, it could be. I just miss when we hated players in the Yankees because of how good they are, not because they were a douchebag to your manager.
So you just talked about like Sox have to be good for this to be like a rivalry and like be able to kind of talk shit back. Honestly, like in your honest opinion, where do you think they go if they lose out in Yamamoto, which I think they will? But just like pivot wise, like is it another year of Rich Hill's back, guys, or is it like Montgomery? Like, what do you think?
I'll read you the text that I read on the podcast. I got a text on Monday at 2:54 p.m.
From someone you absolutely trust, if I remember.
From someone that I trust an exponential amount. So the sense I get is the Sox are going to be aggressive here. ... But if they don't get him, I'm not sure they're going to spend much at all this winter.
I don't love that. Can I be honest with you? Like another year of just what we've been like being put through is.
And like the fans are I'm starting to see people being like, you know, if they punted another year, I'd understand.
No. Who's saying that? Who's going to
I
understand
wish
that?
I didn't ask that question. This sucks.
I go ahead.
You asked Maz a question on the pod. I'm going to ask it to you. Is how many moves away do you think they are from at least being like freaking presentable? At least presentable.
4. 4.
That seems so daunting.
They make 4 moves.
That seems so
It's like pulling teeth just to get one.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to have 2 starting pitchers. I would love to have a second baseman that is great defensively. I think you just have to go out and get a not necessarily like a defensive first second baseman, but just someone that you know is going to be there every day, because we haven't had that in a long time.
Yeah.
Having stability up the middle would be great. I don't know how you guys feel about the outfield, but I would like to add some thump somewhere, and I feel like the outfield is the easiest place to do that.
Any names in particular?
Yeah. Or even like, I feel like DH Hole, who can also play outfield.
Yeah. I mean, that's why like I wish they were a little bit more aggressive on Gurriel after seeing what it cost. Like I know that they met with him. I don't know that they made an offer, but that seems to be kind of a trend. Is like, what's the point of like meeting with a player if you're not actually gonna, like, you're just wasting people's time at that point?
Dude, we've been doing it for 3 years. There has to be some type of point behind it,
right? So
Like,
I would have. I mean, not that I don't want Teoscar Hernandez just because his OPS has gone down like the last 3 years, but his numbers at Fenway are nuts. Like he has really good numbers at Fenway. But yeah, just something like that, like a corner outfielder that has some thump, because Turner, I don't think, is coming back. I don't even know that they've even called him, to be honest.
That's crazy to me.
Dude is just
don't
chilling in
know.
Boston, just like, where's my call?
He's still just like bowling up in Maine, just waiting for a call.
He's the ex-girlfriend that's just been like hanging around town waiting for you to return, and she's like, no, I'm not coming back. I don't know what to tell you, dude.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
Yeah, it could be the Mets, could go back to the Mets, could be the D-backs. I see JD could probably go back to the D-backs, but I don't know. I don't know who that guy is, because I do agree that if it is someone that could DH, they're gonna have to play a little outfield, just because I think Yoshida long term is gonna be getting more and more at bats at DH. But that just opens up the door to do something in the outfield. Like who do you fear? I mean, maybe Casas becomes this guy along with Devers, but like, who do you fear in the Red Sox lineup right now?
I mean, last year you barely feared Devers until the end of the season.
Right.
Kind of like 2/3 of the season. So not really much.
Visually, you can fear Devers because even when he's going bad, his swing is so vicious that you're like, it's still there. Like the threat is like he's threatening you with these swings and misses. But
Like he does that like huge swing, but then he's like crouching down with like when he hurts his like shoulder.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No,
I
he's
hate that.
it's not there.
There was like a week, or there was like a month last year where every time Costas was up, I was thinking he was going deep. But like obviously, you need to see that for an extended period of time before he becomes anything close to like you said, visually.
Yeah. Like Costas in the
when he's up
second
there.
half was one of the best offensive producers in the American League. I think maybe people didn't notice that because the games didn't really mean anything. There was no juice to them.
And like April kept his overall numbers down for a while. Like he finished with like the 5th highest OPS in the AL, but it took him the entire rest of the way to get there just because of the April.
Right. You would never know that because the games were boring. The games didn't mean like they were never really grabbing your attention. Like this is a team that could get hot and get in. Like I never believed that. And I tried to like people will just be like, oh, like you're being negative. Like, no, like I can't fake it. If I don't believe that this team can do it, I'm not going to fake it. And
it's the equivalent of like shitting on the team when they're actually good.
Yeah.
Like, I remember tuning into the radio in 2018 and like, they'd be like, hey, they're really good, but why are they always coming back? And it's just kind of
remember that.
Why aren't you just happy
those
with, like, yeah, they
conversations.
come back all the time, but would you rather them just like go down in the game and be like, all right, that's it.
Yeah, it's over.
It's like that. Why it's not genuine that you're just digging for headlines at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't fake it. I don't know that's not just like a sports or Red Sox thing either. Like I just can't fake it with like people either. Like if I like meet someone and I don't like them, I can't pretend to like them. I'm just like, I just don't like you. But with that Red Sox team last year, I was like, I just don't like you. Like I can't even pretend to like you. I tried. I really did. I really did try. After I think they split with the Braves twice, and for me, that was the only blip on the radar where I was like, okay, all right. Like, if you're going to hover around and maybe get hot in August or September to get in, the fact that you can hang with the Braves says to me, like, hey, if you get in, then maybe you can be like the Phillies of last year where, you just get hot at the right time in October and maybe we can go on another fluky run. But whatever it was about that team, I had a bad taste in my mouth all year. And I think that's when, you look at 2013 and that's what pissed me off like last year when people were trying to compare that team to 2013. Like this is nothing like the 2013 team.
No.
But they just added these dudes that took the bad taste out of your mouth. 2012 was so bad, so miserable. I had the worst time. And then it's like Johnny Gomes. I like that guy. Koji Uehara, high fives. Yes. Shane Victorino.
There was no great.
Mike Napoli. I was like, I fucking love Mike Napoli.
Vibes matter.
Vibes matter so hard, and they need to do something about not just like the roster, but the vibes. Like it is, it's. I don't want to say they're hard to root for, but if they get off to another slow start and there aren't moves that fans can get excited about, if they're just running it back, but they're running it back without Justin Turner, who is probably like one of the only players that people liked and was like one of the best offensive producers on the team. You're going to run this team back without that guy who is the veteran leader in the clubhouse.
Especially when you just said that like possibility of him going to the Mets. And then if they also get Yams, like, I think Red Sox Twitter would explode.
They've already exploded. They lost their shit over Seth Lugo. I mean,
that was awesome.
The bracket analogy was perfect.
What a day!
Oh, yeah,
that was hysterical.
Yeah, it's toxic out there. I'll tell you what, my mental health has improved so much over the last year because I stopped reading like the replies. I will just talk my shit, throw tweets out there. I'm like, you guys can fight amongst yourselves.
Go play with it.
Smart.
Yeah, I'm so exhausted of trying to clarify something or defend a point. That's why all my tweets, like I'll make sure that there's enough information here where you know exactly how I feel and I don't need to defend it because this is how I feel, take it or leave it. And if you need clarification, then you're probably just stupid and I shouldn't engage with you anyway.
And there's always someone who's going to come in and clarify it for you anyway. Like if someone, like there's always other people. Like,
Yeah.
I've learned that. Like,
Yeah. Angels, those people.
Yeah.
Angels.
So, Jared, you mentioned the toxicity, if that's even a word,
Mhm.
on Red Sox Twitter and Red Sox Nation in general. Do we think that this full throttle comment is going to be something that we talk about for a long time as something they dearly, dearly regret, or is it just a blip on the radar?
Oh no! If the Red Sox are bad this year, it's gonna be full throttle. Like that. It's gonna be
All
a full. It's gonna go all year for sure. If they're good, then they're gonna embrace full throttle, and if they're bad, then it's going to be a sarcastic full throttle for the rest of the year. 100%. Yeah.
Do you think they're discussing that internally? Like, Tom, what the hell, man? Why would you say that?
I would hope so, but at the end of the day, like, who is that person to check Tom Warner?
Probably not.
John Henry doesn't even know that he said that.
Yeah.
Who else is going to check Tom Warner?
I mean, Sam Kennedy definitely knows about it and is worrying about it, but
well, they're definitely worrying about it. They have to.
Sam is probably aware. He's definitely aware. He's online. He reads
Everything.
the social medias. But yeah, he has a sense of humor though. Like his reaction, if I were to
he
guess,
would spin it. He would spin it. Ready? This is the pitch because I love the Sam Kennedy school of the spin.
Mhm.
It replaces the "Let's go Red Sox" chant. Like at least that will disappear.
Yeah, I have that.
I hope that lives forever.
Oh,
That's my favorite
soundboard?
video ever.
Oh, it will. I'll never let that die. Don't worry.
Let's go Red Sox! Let's go Red Sox! Let's go Red Sox! Go Red Sox!
So bad.
I was there for that. I was sitting there behind the
the
dugout because
13
we
parade?
snuck in. It was the 13 parade, and it was only season ticket holders allowed in there, but we just kind of like jumped in the line and walked in. And I remember he did that, and we're just like all looking at each other like, does he not know like how to
So
do a
bad.
chant? And
Was
it's
that
like,
before or
how
after
awkward.
the boat
Ugh.
got stuck? Was it 13 or 18 when a boat got stuck in the track?
I want to say that was 13.
Okay, that was a funky parade.
The fact that he asked to start a chant before starting a chant is
How
maybe
He said start a cheer.
a cheer.
Yeah.
Start
Start
a cheer. Like to start a
cheer.
Ugh.
God, hey, at least he cares. Like that's like the inverse of like everyone complaining about never seeing John Henry. It's kind of better. Like I know Chris always loves to try and talk to him, and he's always kind of like upset that he never gets to talk to John.
Mhm.
But the other side of the coin is like we don't have to deal with dumb comments all the time. Like we always see other owners, and we're always making fun of what other owners say, and maybe sometimes it's like Pandora's box where it's like I don't want to open that because I know what's on the other side of it.
I at least could appreciate the body language of Tom Warner when he was at the Devers press conference. Like he seemed pissed. He seemed like, all right. I mean, how many press conferences have we had now where no ownership has shown up and it's an eyesore when they're not there? And I think the backlash was strong after losing Xander Bogaerts. Like PR had taken a huge hit. Fans were pissed off. They paid Rafael Devers the $300+ million contract, and Tom Warner was there to be like, all right, enough with the bullshit. That's why when he said full throttle, it did something for me because his body language at the Devers press conference was like, all right, I'm sick and tired of the Red Sox being the fourth most popular team in Boston. Here's the contract for Devers, and we're not done yet. We're going full throttle next offseason. All right, well, they've spent $1 million on Cooper Criswell.
Coop.
Hey, I mean, like at least we got a Cooper on the team.
Got a good Coop. Yeah.
4 gold gloves added to the team. O'Neill and Perez.
There you
Doing
go.
great.
Where
Whee!
the interest Kings are doing it again.
are
So
throttling.
we're gonna wrap it up. Everyone's got one more question left. Mine very simply, very similar to what I asked Chris. If you could go back and when you are writing your book, which by the way, $75 on Amazon right now.
That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, it's basically just like a collector's item because there's only 1,000 made, but there's definitely less than 1,000 out there because I still have like a couple boxes that I held on to.
Oh, that's like Disney, like holding their old VCRs for like the vault.
Yeah.
But if you could go back to that, Jared, while he's writing that and take one piece of content or blog that you've written and show him, and we're not counting any videos from the 2018 parade.
Okay.
We're doing like strict, like scripted, not so much scripted, but content.
Yeah.
What are you showing him, and why is it or why not is it the Yak, the genesis of it?
The yak.
Way back.
Oh, man. I mean, if I can't pick the parade, because if I would show like the. I mean, technically, it's not like the social media clips. Like there is like a compilation on YouTube of all of it and like
That's
behind the
fair.
scenes stuff.
That's
I
the
would
loophole.
show him that because then I'd be like, hey, idiot, like this is the ending to the book. Like don't end it after 2008. Like that's so anticlimactic. I'd be like, hey, like this is where it should end. But I don't even think at this point, I don't even think it would end there. Like I still think that like there's stuff that happened after 18 where it's like, you know, a lot of the good shit happened after 18. Oh man, what would I show him?
So to be clear, not the yak.
I mean, like the yak was such like people don't even like remember that I was on that show.
That was when it was Sirius XM.
Yeah, like I mean, it was me, Roan, and Big Cat. We started the yak, and it was very sportsy. Like they would talk about NFL, NBA, whatever, and then like a year later, and I tried, but a year later is when we branched off, and
You
Kevin
did
got
Clancy
his
and the
own
Rockets,
show.
right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then Kevin was like, "Hey, would you want to be on my show?" And I was like, "That's definitely more my speed." Just like talking about like random whatever, like funny scenarios and stupid stories. And I went to Dan. I was like, "Hey, like, what do you think about this?" I was like, "What?" Like, I was like, you know, you guys talk about sports, and like, I only watch baseball. Like, I don't know what you want me to do. He's like, yeah, I mean, like, you know, if you're more comfortable doing that, like, we would hate to lose you, but if that seems more your speed and you think you'd be happier, then go do that. And I was like, okay. So I did. And then everyone like for like the next year, people were like, yeah, Dan kicked you off the, like, no, he didn't. Like,
I didn't know that was a narrative.
yeah, people were like, yeah, like, you know, good thing Big Cat kicked you off the yak. It's like, no, like the channel expanded to have
I'm cool not doing the wet wheel.
yeah, like but that's the crazy part is that after I left is when they started doing all like the wacky bits. Like
Yeah.
it started as like a sports show, and then pretty much I don't know, like a few months after I left was when it became like the wacky whatever show that it is now. But yeah, fuck, I don't know, like what. It would have to, like, I would have to show him the parade video that's on YouTube, like the compilation of that whole day. I would have to show him that because, I mean, 18, 19-year-old Jared was probably thinking like, man, like I'm going to write a book as a teenager. Like, how could it ever get better than this?
A lot. A
Yeah.
decent amount.
Yeah. Yeah. Or I would show him videos or clips from the live shows in 2018,
Oh,
like
that's a good
before
one.
the playoff games. Yeah.
That was wild.
Yeah.
All right, we've been doing a lot of pick one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
This one is not baseball related.
Okay.
This is right down your alley.
Okay.
WrestleMania comes around.
Yep.
It's CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. Who are you pulling for?
Damn it, I knew you were fucking sad. Oh, is it this WrestleMania
Yeah, this
specifically? Roman Reigns. And so here's why. Because I want Roman to break Hulk Hogan's record at this point, which means that he has to hold the title, I believe, until September, which is not impossible. I think CM Punk would be delighted just to main event the WrestleMania and put on a great match. I don't think he cares about wins and losses. Maybe he does. I don't know. But I think just like working Roman at WrestleMania right now is you know, you're going to take that because also he's probably going to face Seth Rollins on night one. But if you have Roman, then you're night two, which is that's the main event that you want to be in. I think that he would be happy just main eventing night two against Roman Reigns. And then if Roman wins, then he's definitely going to break Hulk Hogan's record, which is probably cooler at this point. And like they'll make him champion eventually. But I just don't think that after everything that's happened that Triple H or anyone else would bring Punk back to end Roman's title reign. So like booking wise, that makes the most sense too. So I'm gonna go with Roman.
I feel like I just made you pick a favorite kid.
You did. You really did. Because like Kane was my favorite wrestler growing up. I stopped watching when he took his mask off. I started watching again when he put it back on. But then when I came back, Punk became my favorite. And I went back and watched all of his old shit, caught up to where he was. And then he left in 2014. And then Roman became my guy. So I've just been a Roman guy ever since. I mean, basically since like the Shield, because I love the Shield too. So like since 2012, I've been a Roman guy. And now Punk's back and they're both on top. And it's like,
You got to pick a hill to die on at this point.
yeah, it's like in Pearl Harbor. You guys see the movie Pearl Harbor?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's like she's like in love with this dude, but then she thinks that like he's dead from the war, and then she ends up with his best friend, and then he comes back. He's like, "Oh, I'm actually alive," and it's like, "Oh fuck!" Like you're
I'm
both
with Roman.
yeah. So that's kind of where it's at. I love Punk, and I'm very much excited. I was emotional when he came back, but I think Roman's the right call in that match.
All right, Jared, I think this is the last one we got for you. So one of the weirdest days of my life was Big Poppy's estate sale. I want to say it was back in 19 or 20. And I met you there. So you were there. I'm curious, and I know you've been to Big Poppy's house in Miami, but it's one thing to like go to his house in Miami. It's another thing to like pick through all his shit in Weston. Yeah. So I'm curious, what was that day like? Did you buy anything there? What was that day like for you?
I did buy. I think I bought the coolest fucking thing.
What'd you get?
And it was cheap. It had no price tag on it, and I just like I knew the value of it, but I don't think the person that was like ringing out my shit knew what it was. They charged me $3 for a DVD from his personal collection that had every single one of his career home runs on it.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's pretty solid.
You watched it?
$3.
Oh yeah, $3. And from his personal collection. Like
how long is that?
I don't know. I bought on Amazon because obviously, like, you know, who the fuck has a DVD player anymore? But it's like a USB that like connects to your laptop, and then like you put the DVD. So I had to like buy like a special DVD player for my laptop to watch it. But yeah, like David, like I'm sure the Red Sox gifted him a disc that has every single one of his home runs on it, and then I bought it for $3 at his house. Yeah, and then I think I also bought like a glass just like out of his cabinet, just to be like, this is like a glass from David Ortiz's house.
Yeah, we bought a couple of wine glasses. It was like $3 a glass. Like stuff in I had friends buying laundry detergent from this guy.
I saw that.
I bought like it was like $1. It was like you could get a better deal on laundry detergent at David Ortiz's house than you could just going to the store.
I mean, I would buy laundry detergent if it was still available from David Ortiz's house. Like, I would do that.
Yeah, of course.
I'm trying to think of the most random thing that I got, though. I know that that's not all, but that's all I can remember was like, I definitely bought like a glass from his cabinet, and then I bought that DVD, which I was very excited about. Oh, you know what I bought? A fucking, it's still in my closet. It's huge, but he had like a NASCAR driver's like onesie. That it's like a all white, and then it has like a yellow label right here that says like Ortiz on it, and it's huge. Like obviously,
it's like an actual like the
like
suit
a pit
that
crew
they have,
uniform,
like a fire retardant suit.
Yes,
I'm picturing like a beekeeper's uniform.
It's like white, like heavy, like material, and
it has to be fire retardant, which means like you. At some point, you have to try lighting yourself on fire.
Oh, yeah, with David Ortiz's suit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in my closet. I think I've only ever, I can't remember if I've ever like posted a picture wearing it. But yeah, I bought that.
That rocks.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's got to be like a nice like sleeping bag into like if you go up to like Mount Washington, you're just like, yeah, this is what I'm going to sleep in tonight, guys.
Yeah. It's my Big Poppy NASCAR race suit.
Yeah. Jared, thank you for joining us. I mean, it's been an hour 20. You're competing with the Cotillo episode right now.
Damn it, I would never want to be on the same like breath as him.
I mean, you could be above him in like 50 seconds. You're going to be above him. So we typically do when we close out our podcast, we do Nuff Saids. We all talk about what's been going on in our life, but we're going to give you the one Nuff Said today. What is going on? What do you want to plug right now?
Oh my God. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like anyone that's listening, happy holidays. Hope you get to spend time with your families. I know that a lot of people are working hard out there. They don't always get to be with their loved ones. So hopefully you take some time to do that for the holidays this weekend. I know I will. I'm going to be driving all over the place. I'll be I'm doing a bunch. I'm going to be in Beverly on Christmas Eve, then Saugus, then Billerica. And then on Christmas Day, I'll be in Saugus and then Winthrop. So I'm going to be all over the place for the holiday season. So I'm excited about that.
It's kind of unfair to have. That's like showing off that you have so many people that you care about in your
life.
life.
It's all the same people. They just they're all it's like my girlfriend's sister's house and then my parents, or no, my girlfriend's sister's house, my sister's house, then my girlfriend's house. Then on Christmas, it's my parents' house, then my girlfriend's family's house. So I'm like, it's all the same people. It's just like, why can't you guys just sit still?
Well, just like one location.
Yeah, stop moving. And that's the problem. But happy to do it. It's for the kids.
Hey, for the kids.
It's for the kids. For the kids. Yeah, it's a holiday for the kids.
So that has been Jared. He is of Name Redacted, a Red Sox podcast, along with Baseball is Dead. He was kind enough to have a good time with us. I hope you have a great holiday. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully in the new year, we'll have stuff next week. I don't know what you guys are up to, but I've got nothing better to do. So we'll pump out something, but Happy New Year if we don't catch you. And Jared, thanks again.
Hey, thanks for having me.